Sunday marks the 20th anniversary of Elizabeth Smart's return home.
Yeah, she was kidnapped from her Salt Lake City house back in 2002 and was found 9 months later. Our Chris Jones covered the story 20 years ago from beginning to end. Chris, we all remember it like it was yesterday.
Yeah, you know, Mark, you may remember all the time that journalists spent here at this Federal Heights ward house in her neighborhood where Elizabeth was kidnapped. This is where a lot of the searches started. This is where all the press conference happened. Today we had the opportunity to sit down with Elizabeth and talk about all of this experience. She says after she returned home, it took her some time to find her purpose.
Even though I'd been kidnapped out of my bedroom, it still was my safe place.
During her captivity, Elizabeth Smart prayed every day that she would eventually be reunited with her family. When she finally was, she became the focus of the world.
The post office would just start bringing boxes of mail. They wouldn't even bother putting it in our mailbox anymore because we would just have like boxes and boxes of mail dropped off. Our house was like a floral shop. We had flowers on the back of the toilet.
She was just a teenager when her story became the most infamous kidnapping case in history. As life slowly returned to normalcy, she knew things would really never be the same.
Before I was kidnapped, nobody knew who I was. To all of a sudden, having the attention of really a nation on me, that was something that took me quite a while to understand.
She struggled with the adjustment after she was kidnapped by Brian David Mitchell and Wanda Barzee and was found in Sandy 9 months later.
I'd say for me it just kind of happened little by little.
But she slowly moved towards advocating for child safety, victims' rights, and survivors of sexual assault.
It was a really big change, and it took a lot of adjustment.
She established the Elizabeth Smart Foundation and Smart Defense and now speaks regularly to survivors. Over time, this woman who was once just an ordinary teenager is now helping others in extraordinary ways.
Recognizing that people would listen to me really, I would say, have played a motivating role in why I continue to do everything that I do.
You know, before the interview, while they were setting up the cameras, we had an opportunity to just kind of chat casually with Elizabeth. And, you know, we talked about what it's like to raise an 8-year-old. We talked about the fact that her husband is a big sports fan. And we talked about simple things like going to the grocery store. And it reminded me that, you know, this was just a very typical person, at least now, who underwent something that was extraordinary. Reporting in Salt Lake City, Chris Jones, KUTV 2 News.
All right, Chris, thanks. Coming up in a 2 News special, Mary Nichols also sat down with Elizabeth to look deeper into her message, how she's hoping to turn trauma into advocacy for others around the world, especially now, being a mother of 3. It all happens in a 2 News special, Elizabeth Smart Making a Difference, Monday, 6:30, following the 6 o'clock news.